Yeah, as you know, and as I always say, ain't nothing new under the sun, right? So, um, basically over the last month and a half, I've been doing video after video, basically shedding the light on what's been going on with us here in the United States of America, and specifically our people. And by our people, I mean Black Americans, and that is Black Americans under whichever misnomer you identify with. But by Black American, I mean those that are the descendants of the transatlantic slave trade, whether you identify as ADOS, Solon, foundational Black American, indigenous of the copper color races, whichever. But those of us that have been here since before the emancipation, or should I say our bloodlines and our families were here since before the Emancipation Proclamation was penned and signed. So I just want to give you just a brief little snippet of some of the things that I've been looking up and the dots that I'm connecting, because I got a bone to pick with the NAACP, and some of the things that I think people need to know are some of the things such as this. As a lot of you know who've been watching my videos, I've been speaking out quite frequently about the NAACP and their lack of, should I say, initiative in our community, especially in light of what's been going on in the last 4 to 6 years. Now, as we all know, the National Association for Advancement of Colored People was founded in 1909, basically in response to racial violence, segregation laws, and the failure of government to protect Black Americans after Reconstruction. Now, if you don't know, which as I get further on down, I'll be doing a deep dive onto the founders of the NAACP. As you can see here, it was W.E.B. Du Bois, Ida B. Wells, Mary White Ovington, and Moorfield Story. But I'm also going to be digging into the founding funders of the NAACP and where those individuals actually come from. And as you will see, or you'll find out, they belong to a specific group that always seems to find a way to get Black America to solely fund their agenda. And the reason that I've been going so hard is because, again, one of the reasons that the NAACP was created was because of violence against Black American United States citizens. So as we all know, in the last, again, 4 to 6 years, there has been a rise in rhetoric as well as violence, whether people want to see it or admit it or not. I'm going to just let that continue to play in the background because it's not like it's any really pertinent information, but I just want to give an idea of where I'm trying to take this, or where I'm going to be taking this. And the reason I bring this up is that, anytime they talk about the NAACP or what they've done for us as a people since 1909 when they were founded, they always talk about the founders. But as with any organization, especially an organization that was created basically for a version of war, whether it's soft war, hot war, whether it's psychological warfare, or by the book, right? Because they did a lot of litigation and handling court cases and things of that nature. But it's still a form or version of warfare. But for that, you need a war chest. So what they don't talk about are those founding funding members, who they were, where they got their money from, where their loyalties lie. And then what you'll see is once you start connecting the dots, you'll start to see that they start to overlap with a lot of other organizations, whether they be financial or philanthropy or even political. But what you'll start to see is there's always a common thread. There's always a common thread. And then it makes me ask myself, if the party who tells us who the actual racists are are the party that seem to be connected to all the people that fund and have special agendas for us to push. Now, maybe I'm reading into it too much, but with everything going on, all of this to me feels like a psyop. And when you have a party that says things to its constituency, which they have been since, again, the Indian Rights Act, for those of you that don't know, or as they call it now, the Civil Rights Act, but the Indian Rights Act that our ancestors brought to the forefront, the Democratic Party used that as a way to get their push to become prominent in politics in that era. And Malcolm X said what it was, and we didn't listen. MLK said, I think I ran y'all into a burning building. We did not listen, and here we are. Now, this is the party that is now saying things like Governor Hochul, that Black American children aren't smart enough to know what a computer is or how to use it. Or you have Gavin Newsom, which, as he sits on a stage trying to look oh so cool in his Michael Jordan, says to you, I'm just like you guys. I got a 960 on my SATs and I can barely read, just like you. I think we're mad at the wrong shit here. And then again, the people that they give paybacks to, whether you realize it or not, everybody's getting a motherfucking piece of the pie. So then the people that they prop up and put before you to deliver the messages and manipulate you are now telling you things like Torre said. It's okay if a liberal white person calls you the N-word with an R, because if you're working for the master, then that's what you are, and you are not. You were not part of the community. But this is a man who does not involve himself in any way or capacity with the community until it's time to make money or have an opinion that pushes the community in a way that his handlers want them to go. Because he don't live in any of the communities. He damn sure as fuck didn't marry into or procreate within the community. So I don't know what the fuck he talking about. But hey, who am I? But yeah, we need to really start paying attention to what's being said to us, how it's being said, and who's saying it. Because we know that there for years, especially on the West Coast, for years, there has been an issue with Black Americans being pushed out of their communities by Mexican gangs. This is nothing new. This has been happening all the way back to the late 80s, the 90s, up until right now, where they knew people were getting firebombed out of their home. These people actually sat and had congressional hearings about this shit. My question is this: where in the fuck is the NAACP? They got so much smoke to talk about white people. Let me ask a lot of y'all, when's the last time you had a white motherfucker in your hood telling you that you a dirty black nigga and ain't got no culture? Asking for a friend. But we see what's happening on social media. Again, I think it's a psyop. But whether it's a psyop or not, it's happening. And the frequency of it is getting more and more frequent. And the further we get along, the more vile and disrespectful the shit gets. We now went from having no culture and not knowing who our fathers is, because we all the product of one night stands, to now we got bitches getting online talking about strapping bombs to their chests, and people are mad with me about the way that I deliver the message. But ain't nobody talking about the bomb strapped to the motherfucking chest or none of the other threats that are going and floating around here. And ain't nobody asking where in the fuck is the NAACP at to protect the people that created it and continue to help it fucking function. But they telling these same people to go protect the people who were out here issuing bomb threats. This is wild to me. This is beyond wild. And until we as a people completely wake the fuck up and understand that we are under a spell, there is a glamour spell going on and a few other ones that we need to completely break. And that first starts with dealing with the intergenerational trauma, dealing with the shit that happens to you every day directly in your life and attacking it head on. And until we do that, we're going to continue to be pimped like whores, because you got Torre on one end watching a video of a white woman calling a black man, you're a nigger, you're a house nigger. And him getting on the interwebs in front of millions of fucking people and making excuses for racism. But it's funny because if it comes from one specific group, right? When somebody said, oh, we're trying to help y'all get these black jobs. Oh, what the fuck is a black job, you racist motherfucker? You know what a black job is? A black job is whatever black job your black ass is currently occupying. If you're a doctor and you're a black American, then that's your black job. If you drive Uber and you're black, then guess what? That is your black job. If you a line operator, a pipe fitter, whatever the fuck you do, if you black and that's your job, then that's your black job. And like I say, no one's paying attention because ever since his administration said, oh, you know what? You can't get a CDL if you cannot read, write, and speak English. We see what's happening, right? You see the turnaround? That means that you can start opening up your own contract companies to move these goods and services, because there's going to be a big gap now, because at one point people were coming over here on H-1B visas and they were getting grants and federal funding from your tax dollars to open up these businesses. And these are the type of the things that politicians that are backed with NAACP funding, I might add, are pushing for. So when in California, they're working on grants for first home buyer, first time homeowner, grants and loans of up to $150,000, and specifically earmarked for people no matter what their legal status is, which means it's being done for illegals, but you as a tax-paying American citizen have access to none of this shit. And it makes people sit here and go, oh, yeah, well, we're better than you in every way possible. Oh, yeah, we braved the Darien Gap, or we sailed from here or there, and we made it with nothing. So if you had nothing, when you got to these shores and you first set foot on this land, where did you sleep? How did you clothe yourself? What did you eat? How did you shower? What resources did you use to maintain yourself until you were able to find work? I'll wait. And where did it come from? I tell you what I know. I've been paying taxes since I was fucking 15. But a bunch of people that just got here 4 years ago and never paid taxes are getting money hand over fist. And now they out there pumping up their chest talking about niggas this and niggas that and what they want to do to niggas, while it's a party that's supposed to be supporting the so-called niggas is on stage calling the niggas dumb. They either talking about they got the same scores on the SAT and can't read like you do, or during their political campaigns, they're up there talking about some walk it like I talk it, quoting rap lyrics as if that's the most prolific, profound shit that they could ever fucking say to get your fucking attention and your vote. And you're not fucking seeing it. But hey, if it makes me the bad guy for having to point out the fucking obvious, then that is who I will be. But if that's what it takes to start getting more and more people to see what's going on, I'm willing to hop out that window and be that. Fuck it. So yeah, this is what I'm going to be working on in the next few weeks. An extensive, detailed breakdown into the founders of the NAACP, the maniacal clown posse, the collective of punks and pussies that continue to tell you to dry ice while they know these individuals are tormenting black neighborhoods coast to coast and have been doing so for years and have never done a fucking thing. We still waiting for 40 acres and a mule, but they out there telling you to go vote for Ocasio, who says that you don't deserve reparations, but the illegals that just came across the border do. And now the fact that they're out here comparing what transpired during the transatlantic slave trade to the illegal migrant crisis is beyond fucking insane to me. And the fact that a lot of you motherfuckers are out there actually supporting and co-signing this shit is even more devious and fucking diabolical, because you are literally comparing prisoners of war to people that made a fucking choice when Biden stood up there and said, you want asylum, you deserve it. Surge the border and you'll get whatever you want. And they did it. We didn't ask to become prisoners of war and lose our fucking land and then have to be enslaved and then deal with the shit that we've dealt with and continue to fucking deal with. Because now they're importing the hate. You a caca. And then when you say you don't want no parts of it, well, look at you house nigger. And then there's always one of them to sit there and go, well, you are not part of the community. Yo, Torre, you're a fucking clown. That Kyle nigga is a fucking clown. All these motherfuckers are fucking clowns. It's time to tighten up. And it's time for us. Like, it only takes 3% of people to start a real live revolution. It's time for us to take back control of our communities, our political stances, and everything. Because the people that we trusted to do their job are not doing their fucking job. So yeah, realize. Transparency forces accountability. Y'all keep your eyes to the stars. Keep that head on a swivel. We are in the demonic, diabolical den of demons, aka the Viper Pit. Y'all be safe out there, because it's a motherfucking dangerous game.
Fight his own battles. His problems are not mine. I don't want to ally with him.
I know Negroes aren't given their full share of democracy, but frankly, I'm prejudiced against Negroes, and I do not believe that they are entitled to everything that we get.
And we taught our kids the same thing. That's why they can play with you. I can't bring you home. We are a white race, and we should not be treated like colored people.
I argue that Mexicans were legally white and should not be subjugated to the same Jim Crow treatment as blacks. Latin Americans of Mexican descent belong to the Caucasian race and are therefore white, which is true.
And I say, let the Negro fight his own battles. His problems are not mine. I don't want to ally with him.
I know Negroes aren't given their full share of democracy, but frankly, I'm prejudiced against Negroes, and I do not believe that they are entitled to everything that we get.
And we taught our kids the same thing. That's why they can play with you. I can't bring you home. We are a white race, and we should not be treated like colored people.
What up, y'all? Y'all see these headlines? Right? This is the biggest case. Latinos allegedly abusing black employees. They end up settling out of court. I'm going to tell you that. They settled out of court. And when they went to go interview the black employees, they said that Latino workers were calling them monkeys and waving bananas at them, and everybody in the warehouse will laugh at them. And I know y'all going to say, oh, it's not all of them. Where it was a warehouse full of them. And 3 different companies. That's why this is considered one of the biggest lawsuits, biggest cases in California, right? And look, check this out. Even the attorney said that these cases are becoming more intense and more ugly. You could pause it and read it, right? Nooses, racial slurs. Now, if this was white people doing this to black people, this would be all over the news, right? This will be national news. I just don't understand why they don't report when it's minority against minority, right? If it was white people doing this, we'll hear about this. 3 different companies, and these Latinos, Hispanics, was in cahoots with white people. You see this? They were in cahoots with white supervisors, giving the black people the most, the hardest work, the hardest labor to compete, to do, right? Now, look at this though. 171 cases been settled. Racial discrimination, not only discrimination, but treating black people differently because of their race in Southern California. 171 cases within 10 years. What? And y'all talking about solidarity.
There's a lot of racism, bro. Even for us in like Mexicans, there's Mexicans that can't stand black people. They can't stand them. I myself have no problem with color of skin. Like I've kicked it with homeboys that are black, and I remember when I was younger, sometimes I was hungry, we didn't have anything to eat, and I had a friend, can't remember his name, but me and him, like, he was homeless as well. A black kid from Grape Street. It's a gang. It's called Grape Street. We would go into a Walmart and we would just fill up our stuff, and he's like, you're gonna be the decoy, you're gonna run out and they're gonna chase. There's a lot of racism, bro. Even for us in like Mexicans, there's Mexicans that can't stand black people. They can't stand them. I myself have no problem with color of skin. Like I've kicked it with homeboys that are black, and I remember when I was younger, sometimes I was hungry, we didn't have anything to eat, and I had a friend, can't remember his name, but
11-year-old Trinity Washington prepares for a second surgery this week.
My eye is in so much pain. My eye and my nose.
Sunday night, the girl had emergency surgery on her eye. She and her mother say the injuries happened after neighbors hosting a Mexican Independence Day celebration used a racial slur against the African-American family.
That word shouldn't be used towards us. It shouldn't. It shouldn't be used towards anybody. Nobody should use that word because that's a bad word.
A few minutes later, two women allegedly attacked the girl when she didn't move her 3-month-old Yorkie out of their way. The 6th grade honor student and cheer captain named her puppy Barbie. Washington and her mom say Barbie was stepped on by one of the women but survived. Then they say the aggressors targeted Washington.
I looked up. A bottle came towards my face, being thrown to my face. I dropped down because I felt something hard. She punched me in my nose. When she punched me in my nose, I almost blacked out because I fell again.
I want justice. I want them to see her.
Washington's mother preferred for her face not to be shown on TV.
Everyone have been so supportive with just sharing the love, letting her know that she is beautiful. I'm just heartbroken that this happened to her.
For the girl who hopes to someday be a pediatrician, she says this is not only painful, but confusing.
I didn't do anything. I was just trying to put my dog in a house.
The police report the family shared with ABC7 classified this case as an aggravated battery of a child. Today, Chicago police tell us no one is in custody and the case is being investigated as Washington prepares for surgery tomorrow, hoping it will lessen her pain.
Brother, you better turn your radio back.
What do you think about these Black Lives Matter that they want to be paid for being what is it, slaves and all that?
Reparation.
Yeah, there.
Are you talking about reparation? Well, I heard they passed in North Carolina.
Yes.
But it was a small little town in North Carolina that passed reparations for whoever's over there. I'm sure they'll try to do something out here in California. I think they already actually got a little board going that they're going to start looking into it. So
yeah, and that's what we, the Raza, need to step up, protest, and I'm talking major, and turn around and tell them, no, nobody get reparations until the Native Americans and the Mexicans get ours first.
Listen, brother,
We've been going through this crap a lot longer, so I don't want to hear it. Because it's not fair, dog. How are you going to give a bunch of money to a specific group, dog? This is the United States, a melting pot. How are you going to give it to a specific group?
Because right now they've got the white people with so much guilt. It was your parents.
Yeah.
No more money for you. Bye bye, bye bye, bye bye.
Go back, cross.
No more money for you. No more money for you. It's lazy, you lazy. You lazy. No more money for you.
Take your back.